Welcome to Basic Input and Output in Python. Collecting user input and printing. Collecting user input is an essential part of programming, allowing programs to interact with users. In Python, you can use the input function to gather information. This code asks the user for their name. The input function displays a prompt and waits for the user to type a response. The program then stores this response in the variable called name. Next, the code prints a message that includes the user's name. This demonstrates how we can use input from the user and display it immediately in the program's output. Here is an example of what happens when the code runs. The program prompts, "What is your name?" The user enters, Alice. The program then responds with, "Hello, Alice." This shows how input and output allow a program to interact directly with a user, making it more dynamic and personalized. Using variables in print statements. Printing variables in a clear manner helps make your program's output easier to read. Here are three common methods. First, concatenation. This example joins text and variables together using the plus sign and converts numbers to strings to display them. Next, comma-separated print. Here, items are separated by commas, and Python automatically adds spaces between them, making the output more readable without needing to convert data types. Finally, f-strings, or formatted string literals. This modern approach lets you insert variables directly into a string for clear and concise output, and is generally the preferred method. Formatting text with string methods. Python offers straightforward methods to change the case of text, making your program's output clearer and more consistent. The most commonly used functions are .title, .upper, .lower, and .capitalize. In this example, we assign the string Alice Johnson to the variable name. The .title method converts the first letter of each word to uppercase, resulting in Alice Johnson. The .upper method changes every letter to uppercase, giving Alice Johnson. The .lower method ensures all letters are lowercase, producing Alice Johnson. Finally, .capitalize makes only the first letter of the string uppercase, while the rest remain lowercase, resulting in Alice Johnson. These methods help standardize text presentation and improve readability in your programs. Example program in action. Console displays, "What is your name?" Program waits for input. User enters their name and presses Enter. Console now shows, "What is your favorite color?" Program pauses, waiting for the next input. User types in a color and presses Enter. The program instantly converts the color to uppercase letters. A personalized message appears, such as, "Hello Alex, your favorite color is blue." Execution completes, leaving the final message visible in the console. We can see how the inputs directly shape the output, making the experience interactive and rather engaging. Valid and invalid variable names. When creating variables in Python, you must follow certain naming rules. Variable names may only contain letters, numbers, and underscores, and they cannot begin with a number. Reserved keywords, such as for, if, or class, are not allowed as variable names. These rules ensure your code runs without errors. This code demonstrates which variable names are valid and which are not. Here, user name, age2, and total score are all valid, because they use only allowed characters and do not start with a number or use reserved words. By contrast, Second place is invalid because it starts with a number. Username is invalid because it uses a hyphen instead of an underscore. For is invalid as it uses a reserved keyword. Using invalid names will cause errors when you run your code. Sensible variable names. Choosing meaningful variable names is essential for writing code that is easy to read and understand. Each variable name should clearly describe the data it holds. In Python, it's standard practice to use snake case, where words are written in lowercase and separated by underscores. Avoid short, vague names like x or data1 unless their purpose is completely obvious from the context. This code demonstrates the difference between good and poor variable naming. Here, user age, student name, and total score are clear and descriptive. These names make the code's purpose immediately apparent. In contrast, using X offers no insight into its use. Name of student mixes uppercase and lowercase letters, which is inconsistent with Python conventions. Score total uses camel case instead of snake case, making the code less readable for others. The variables user age, student name, and total score follow the recommended conventions, making the code straightforward to follow. Meanwhile, X is meaningless. Name of student uses the wrong case style, and score total does not follow Python's naming guidelines. By choosing descriptive, consistent variable names, you make your code clearer and easier for others to maintain.